Hello, good afternoon. You're watching Market Fatafat with me, Ankita Saxena, and with me is Mansi Dave. In the next 1 hour, we'll take you through all the top buzzers in trade, why they're buzzing on the back of news flow or on the back of technicals. But first up, let's see how the market is shaping up at this juncture. Mansi, we have given up those 24,750 levels. Also, we are at the lowest point of the day, both on Nifty and Nifty Bank as well.
That's right, Ankita. Last trading session of the week, and it's quite volatile towards the downside, and we are surrendering to all the important levels at present. 24,700 on Nifty, around 200 points of downtrends you see in Nifty. Also take a look at Bank Nifty, Sensex and the broader markets. The broader markets too are volatile in trade. Bank Nifty is down around 500 points with 54,459 levels at day low at present while we talk. Talking about the stock-specific and sector-specific approaches, barring a few sectors, there are almost all the sectors which are choppy in trade today. And stock-specific L&T, ITC, Reliance, Tata Motors, Maruti, all are the contributors at present. A little bit of contribution and support to the market which they may give. But on the flip side, M&M, Infosys, ICICI Bank, TCS, Sun Pharma are the laggards. So clearly the texture of the market looks weak and literally all the sectors are in red, Ankita.
Absolutely, Mansi. So without further ado, let's get on board. Kunal Shah, the Senior Technical and Derivative Analyst, Murray Asset Share Khan, who's now joining us on the technicals from our research team. We're joined by Rabindra as always. Hi, good afternoon to both of you. Thank you so much for joining us. Let's get started with all the stocks that are in news today. Then the first pick is JSW Steel. A big breaking that came in during market hours is the fact that the Supreme Court has upheld the 19,700 crores of acquisition of Bhushan Steel by JSW Steel. Now remember, Supreme Court has overturned its earlier verdict on the May 2nd in the BPSL liquidation case. Now, Supreme Court has also rejected the objections raised by the ex-promoters and certain creditors of BPSL, and on the back of that, JSW Steel was in focus. A sharp spike up is what we saw after the verdict came out, but JSW Steel has also succumbed to the selling pressure thereafter. That is trading with cuts of 1.2% as of now.
1.2% at present, 1134 level on the back of a news flow. But Kunal, hi, good afternoon. Thank you for giving your time to ET Now. Yes, the strategy on the market looks quite volatile at present, and the market participants should stay cautious at present. But then talking stock specific at present, Jindal Stainless, let's pull up that stock. Again, volatile in trade, but around 0.5% of gains as we see. What's the technical stance on Jindal Stainless? And also if you would want to give some strategy and view on the indices.
Good afternoon, Prachi. Good afternoon to everyone. See, I think what we have seen, the rally, what we started from 24,400 towards the mark of 25,480. So this entire rally, what we had, we were supposed to take a support around the mark of 25,000, 25,150 in order to make sure that this uptrend is intact. But once we break this mark, the entire rally, what we had in the recent times, that gets negated. So the uptrend of Nifty has now been negated on the long-term charts as well, where Nifty on the higher levels now faces stiff resistance at that 25,000, 25,400, 500 mark. So now that the approach remains as a sell-on rise mode for the markets, we will test the support of 24,400, 300 in the next couple of weeks as well. So I think already this is the 6th day of decline what we are seeing. So we are in the oversold zone. So there might be some technical bounce, but again that bounce should be utilized as a selling opportunity. So the texture for the market now continues to be on the weaker side. Your India VIX has started to short up from the lowest levels. So that is again a major concern point for the market. IT as an index has been making new lows, and IT is looking bad on technical charts as well. So further downside left for the IT index, that would again hamper the entire rally in the IT space. Then pharma, again with the Trump tariff coming back into action, pharma would be volatile. So I think in the volatile market, the sectors like IT and pharma, which comes to be a defensive space, that are again now looking very weak. So that will again lead to further selling pressure on the downside. So the markets are, for a short-term perspective, looking weak. On the Bank Nifty front, I think here also we have seen a breakdown today below the 20 DMA. 56,000 now continues to be a very strong resistance. Till the time that is not taken out, there is no sign of trend reversal for the Bank Nifty. There are two big boys, HDFC and ICICI. Both are looking weak on charts, and the selling pressure could continue. So Bank Nifty is looking extremely weak, can come down towards the mark of 53,000 on the downside. So Bank Nifty also continues to remain in a sell-on rise mode. Bounces should be utilized as a selling opportunity. Coming to JSL, so JSL, what we have observed that metal as an index has been doing quite well, and JSL is on the verge of a breakout from its all-time high. Already on the technical chart, there has been a rounding bottom formation. Volume-based buying is what we have seen at the lower levels, and we feel that now the entire all-time high level would be taken out and the new leg of rally will start. So that's why this is a buy for me, keeping a stop loss of 730 on the downside, which is the support. I'm expecting targets of 860 to 900 on the higher end for JSL.
Take on Jindal Stainless and the take on strategies on indices as well. But then let's take a look at RITES Limited. The share of RITES did rose around 7% in the trading session after it received a letter of award from Thales Logistics, South Africa, for a supply of overhauled in-service Cape Gauge Alco diesel electric locomotive worth $18 million. Now, this is a big one, and as you see, the stock is ranging positive in volatile markets at present. So also, 255 is the level. As we see, it has bagged an international order worth $18 million. The civil construction firm's stock did see an upside on the back of this positive news flow. The biggest intraday rise, one can say, since July 2nd is what we have witnessed in RITES. Of course, at present, from the levels above, it's witnessing some sort of profit booking as well, but on the back of a positive news flow, at least in green in the volatile markets. But let's go across to Rabinder and talk about Godrej Agrovet. Now, Rabinder, the stock is in focus on the back of a brokerage note, it seems.
Well, yes, Godrej Agrovet is in focus on the back of a positive brokerage note where ICICI Securities has come out with the note and they have initiated a coverage with buy rating with target price of ₹980. They say that the Godrej Agrovet has exhibited a pronounced and sustained recovery across its metrics over the last 12 to 18 months as a cost and margins gain prevailed over soft volume growth. And they say that the Aztec to gradually turn a corner for the company from FY26 to 28, an animal feed and vegetable oil segment to gain the stream. Branded product to see aggressive focus, which is boosted by foods and dairy segment. And ICICI Securities expect a strong momentum over the next 12 to 18 months in the domestic crop protection segment, and they see the robust EPS CAGR of 26% growth over FY26 to 28. So back of this positive note from the ICICI Securities, Godrej Agrovet is its focus and the stock is up more than 2%.
All right, moving on to the next counter on the charts. Voltas is what you've picked out for us. Kunal, tell us what do you see for Voltas on the charts, because this counter has been in a consolidative mode for the last 6 months. From here on, what do you see for the charts?
Yeah, I think post the GST rate cut, consumption was something that needs to be having a boost up, but we are not seeing that on the chart. So price is showing definitely a different story over here, and Voltas over here. Post that has been very weak on the technical charts. Whatever rise you are getting in Voltas, that is getting sold into. So clear cut, there is strong resistance at the higher level. So I think any technical bounce would be a good opportunity to exit the stock. I can expect the stock in the near term to go towards the mark of 1280, which is the first support zone, that is the gap area, and below that the stock would also decline towards 1200. So the short term view for Voltas continues to be on the negative side. Bounces should be utilized as an exit opportunity. Only if the stock surpasses on the higher end above the level of 1400, 1420, then only you can see some trend reversal happening in the stock.
Right. Further downside anticipated, consider exiting the stock. That's a take coming in. But on that note, we slip into a short break. We'll keep discussing stocks on the other side.
Welcome back. You're tuned into Market Fatafat, where we're getting you all the top buzzers in the trade. And one stock that is in focus is HAL. HAL is in focus on the back of a note by Motilal Oswal that is maintaining a buy call with a target price of 5,800. Now, they feel that HAL has received a follow-on order of 97 light combat aircrafts, MK1A, worth 62,400 crores from the MOD, and this is in addition to the previous order of 83 Tejas LCA MK1A received in January 2021. Now, the GE has now overcome the supply chain issue it was facing previously and resumed the normal deliveries as well. And they feel that with the contract for 97 additional jets now signed, projecting a related order of $1 billion for 113 new F404 engines with GE to be finalized in just few weeks. Now, they estimate the build-in execution scale-up for the manufacturing order book as HAL begins delivery for the Tejas aircrafts from Q3 of FY25 onwards. And they retain a positive stance on the sector and maintain a buy rating on the stock with an unchanged target price of 5,800. On the back of that, HAL is in focus today.
So defense major Hindustan Aeronautics Limited on the back of a positive brokerage note. Kunal, what's your view on the stock? And as we see, the defense and shipbuilding space is doing positive, and in particular, HAL on the back of news flows, order wins, and now a positive brokerage report.
So I think HAL, if you look at the chart, that the stock had witnessed the recent correction from the highs of 5160 towards the mark of 4,300. Now 4,300 is where the 200-day moving average was placed, and it tried to breach that mark, but it was unable to do that, and we saw an exceptional reversal from those levels, which indicate that there is strong buying interest at the lower levels for the stock, and you can expect new all-time high levels also coming in for the stock. So I think a very strong candidate on the technical charts here. Since the markets are weak, it could test the support zone of 4665, which is where the 20 DMA is placed. So say around the mark of 4,700, 4,600, this could be an ideal zone where one can go on the long side for HAL. The 200 DMA on the downside is placed at 4350. So keeping that as a stop loss on the downside, one can look for targets of first is 5,100 and second is 5,400 on the higher end. So HAL is one stock which continues to be as a buy on this stock.
Well, keeping with HAL then, Times Network caught up in an exclusive conversation with HAL CMD DK Sunil as well. He calls the deal between HAL and the Defence Ministry a win-win situation. Let's listen in.
Today we are mandated to have 70% indigenous content in this aircraft. So obviously most of the stuff has to come from India, except, as you know, the engine and a few critical parts come from outside. The rest is going to be made in India. So whatever we make, it is going to be with the support of the private industry. So this is going to have a very good multiplier effect in terms of generating jobs and giving work to all these companies. We've already contracted them for the 83, and the 97 will ensure that this supply chain keeps running.
What of the engines? Because GE was supposed to give you engines. You said that they have promised you 12. But what you need is about 180. So when will that happen? Because they have supply chain problems, is what we are hearing.
We have concluded the contract for this 97, which is 113 engines, and we will be signing it shortly in this month. So I think GE itself has now overcome the initial technical problems, and they are in a position to ramp up. So they have promised that they will be able to give us this engine. Secondly, the follow-on order of 113 engines. We had the 99 engines in the earlier order, now it is 113. So this gives a lot of, financial motivation for these companies to keep working with us. The earlier GE problem was they were saying that, we don't have continuous orders, so they had shut down the line. So I think now they have an assurance that we are giving these orders. And as this product becomes more mature and we integrate more weapons and more capabilities, I am sure it will go beyond 180. So everybody in this supply chain will definitely be interested to work with us because there is so much visibility in the future.
So that's all about the defense sector and in particular HAL. But up next, let's talk about the renewable energy space and in particular Adani Green as well as NTPC Green. To start with Adani Green, the company and the management did have their fourth talks on 2025, wherein Gautam Adani did call for a second freedom struggle, giving his views and his plans for development in the near future. He did motivate the youth to participate in bringing in the change by bridging divide and strengthening the fabric of democracy. Adani Group stocks were in focus during the week as well, and if we take a look at the long-term picture, the last returns of Adani Green have been positive in comparison to NTPC Green. But then we also have a news flow on NTPC Green, where the company has got 25 megawatt of 37 megawatt solar power project in Bhuj, Gujarat, and commercial operation of which starts from 27th of September. So that's the renewable energy space, and in particular Adani Green as well as NTPC Green. But moving ahead, Rabinder, Nuvama Wealth Management is also in focus today on the back of a brokerage report.
Well, Nuvama Wealth Management is in focus on the back of positive report from Cities, where Citi has maintained the buy rating with target price of rupees 10,000. They say that the large client loss, which is approximately 6 to 8% of the consolidated revenue is ripple effect on the other clients, and regulatory issues are overhang. And Citi refutes that significant client loss has impacted, and they expect recovery via new or existing client momentum. And even in the worst case weekly expiry revenue loss, the asset servicing PBT impacted capped at less than 50%, and 30 to 40% of the revenue of the company of the Nuvama Wealth are cash linked, and which reduce the regulatory risk for the company. They say that the street is underestimating benefit from the recent client acquisition and volume scale up, and growth is driven by the new RM additions, operating leverage to play out gradually. And Citi has highlighted that in the medium term, Nuvama Wealth growth run rate to remain stronger than peers. So back of this positive note, Nuvama Wealth is in focus, and the stock is up 1.5%.
All right, that was the last talk of the day. Thank you so much for joining us, both our guests. Thank you so much for joining us. Mansi and I will take your leave. Thank you for tuning in. Don't go anywhere. Market action continues on ET Now.